Do join me at my writing Zooms. I can help if you want to write a book or perhaps you're working on one and you want a little bit of coaching. I run one on a Saturday, which is a group session, and also I can offer one-to-ones anytime during the week. I'm working on my ghost story that's set in New Orleans, which I'm so excited about. It's nearly there. This one I think I'm going to self-publish. It's my 7th novel. So I think it's going to appear on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing soon. I hope it'll be before the end of the year so people can buy it in time for Christmas if you like to read around the holidays. And I was just thinking about, I've used a metaphor of a wasp's nest. I don't want to give away too many spoilers about this particular book. It's the story of Wayne, and he has moved to New Orleans with his fiancée, Ophelia, but he does a lot of procrastination, and I decided I would use this symbol of a wasp's nest in their house as a way to show that he really should get on with certain tasks, and he doesn't. So this wasp's nest keeps appearing throughout the book. So see what you think. I thought I'd just read a little bit. Here we go. So the first time that the wasp's nest is mentioned is early on. Wayne says, "I left the wasp's nest for weeks and it got bigger and bigger. Miss Julie had told me exactly what to do. She diagnosed that these were paper wasps and not too dangerous to deal with myself, as long as I took it out quick before the nest got too big. She said I had to do it at night time and I had to whack it with a broom, then stomp it and pour boiling water over it to kill the queen inside. But I didn't do it, and as the fiercely hot days continued, the wasps were busily adding their chewed wood pulp spew. It grew to the size of my fist and then to the size of my head. I realized I had procrastinated too long and it was now too late. But I could not admit this to Ophelia or to her friends." Ophelia is his fiancée. And then a little bit later, he thinks about it again when his fiancée has actually left, and he's living in the property by himself, not sure quite what to do. So Wayne says, "Then I returned to my sad, empty bachelor pad of a house. The wasp nest is growing. I'm advised by my new neighbours that destroying it now would be a mistake. The injured larvae send out a smell that the adult wasps find maddening, and they will swarm at me. Wasps can sting over and over without dying. 10 or 20 of them would go for my head, and I would be in very serious trouble. I know I need a professional exterminator, having left the problem for too long." And then later, as if to add insult to injury, I have various people visiting his property, commenting on the fact that he's now left this problem too long and his procrastination has stored up a lot of trouble for him. Perhaps we've all been there. Perhaps it's something we can relate to. So the character Miss Julie has been arriving earlier to our house and leaving later. I had been accustomed to seeing her in her Sunday finery for church, but today I was assaulted by the house dress she wore. Stained and huge and shapeless, it was the sort of garment a woman pulled on when she was about to undertake some messy feminine task, fry some chicken, or perhaps assist at a birth. "You got a wasp's nest growing there," she cautions me, waving in the direction of the window on the front right of our house. "We have? Could you show me?" She is right, unfortunately. We had a mesh screen fitted to the outside of each of the panes of glass, so we can open the window without the bugs getting in. Very typical in Louisiana. It looks as if the wasps have made a small hole through the delicate wires, and they are building a nest. Each of the fat insects must be about 2 inches long. "Big buggers," I comment as we peer through the window at their industry. "Are those hornets, actually?" "Paper wasps, I think," she says. The nest is so far small but unmistakable. It is grey as if made out of a dusty terracotta and has built up thick turrets, each containing a perfectly hexagonal hole through the length of it. It makes my skin crawl to watch them flying in and out, adding to their fortress of evil. The structure looks a little like a malevolent brain beginning to form in a womb. You'll need to destroy that before it gets too big, Miss Julie warns. No problem to take it out right now, as long as you don't get yourself stung. Yes, of course, I say, strangely irritated. I'll deal with it. Thank you for letting me know. And then later, Wayne decides to go and look at this wasp's nest for something to do when he's annoyed. So the two women, that's his fiancée and her friend Miss Julie, seem to be watching him expectantly, as if I have to get out there with boiling water and poisons this second to rid my castle of the wasp's nest. You can see the kittens in the background looking out of the window. I resist the urge to say I'll do it later, all right. Instead I say nothing, but feign nonchalance and amble off to my study. Hands in my trouser pockets, I almost whistle. My rage building, I stroll into my man's sanctuary and close the door very softly behind me. I'll deal with the wasp's nest soon enough. What's the panic? No wonder women have a reputation for being the most insufferable nags. And then later, he doesn't want to jump into bed with his fiancée because they're not doing well in terms of their relationship. And he says she's already in bed and waiting for me to join her. I can't bear the thought of doing what she expects, so I jump up again and leave the room. I go to look at the wasp's nest through the window, which seems as good an idea as any. It has grown by about an inch all the way around and is hanging down from the wooden ledge that runs horizontally in between the panes of the windows. It has the shape of an inverted mushroom cloud, and I'm reminded briefly that I should indeed get the thing blown up by an exterminator. So, what do you think? Would you like to read this book? I really hope that you do. It should be available within the next month or so. But also, would you like to learn more about writing your own book? And what do you think about using these sorts of symbols and metaphors within our novels? Or even if you write short stories and flash fiction or poetry, do you like to use something like the wasp's nest as a metaphor for a character procrastinating and not dealing with a problem that's getting worse and worse? What do you think? And what are the symbols that you've perhaps tried out in your creative writing?